Alright, welcome to what we learned from Picks and Bans, Game 1 of Cloud9 vs Gravity. Got a Moo pick coming out here from High. This is great. Let's just start talking about the champions. First, damage versus effective HP. Very three threats coming out of Cloud9. High sustained damage once Tristana gets going. Good burst from Diana is pretty much equal to Victor, although it's a little more risky, but she has more HP. They're countering, with the double exhaust you just saw there. Rumble is good, and then you have a Moo who, he's got some pretty good damage, but I believe it's around the same as Gragas. Maybe it's a little more because of the is it his auto attacks, I believe, that reduce the magic resistance? It might just be proximity, but I think that's Fiddlesticks with the proximity. I think Karma for speed ups and everything like that. Alright, so the damage is pretty good. Victor, huge burst. It's not necessarily enough to kill Diana, but it will be enough to kill Tristana, especially with no shielding. So that's pretty good. Ashe, pretty good damage. They don't have a lot of shielding, and Braum can't block a lot of the damage that's coming out of Cloud9, and that's kind of pretty important. So I think Cloud9 has a little edge over that. Their damage is a little higher. It's not a big edge, but they definitely have it. Pressure versus engage. Cloud9 has massive engage with that Amumu and Karma speed boost. That's really good engage. Gravity, Ashe Arrow, very good engage. Gravity also has counter engage, the disengage with Gragas. That's more the pick. So pressure, they're both kind of equal with pressure. Tristana is going to be stronger at the end, but Ashe is pretty neutral. She's 600 range, so it's not that big of a deal. So that's going to be kind of neutral. It's equal. Victor puts out a lot of pressure with his 800 range kind of burst, so it's 700, I believe, is the ultimate. 6 or 700 is the ultimate. But Rumble's doing kind of the similar thing to that. So carry versus control. I think Cloud9 is going to be winning here in carry versus control. Let's take a look. So both the carries of Gravity are not very mobile. Victor, Ashe, if they're together and a Mumu gets his ult off, they don't have. Oh, Ashe has cleanse, good, but Victor doesn't have cleanse. Maybe he's going to build a QSS, but that's not really the best item for the mage. So if that happens, that can be very bad, depending upon how it goes, especially because Incarnation should have an easy time going in. Even if Incarnation doesn't use Q, he can still ult once and kind of melee with his shield. He wouldn't hit his Q because Braum would block it, and Incarnation will get exhausted, but the other people on his team won't get exhausted. That's what the double exhaust isn't particularly useful, because the only person you're going to be able to exhaust is Incarnation on Diana. So it's a little bit harder for C9 to be controlled. But Gragas, Braum, Gnar, they can. I feel like C9 is just going to have an easier time because of the Amumu. If he can get the bandage toss in, flash ult in, it should be easier. Poke for sustain. Gravity's coming down here with much better poke. Much better sustain with Braum. C9 doesn't really have any poke at all. Karma, that's not a big deal. So Gravity definitely has a stronger poke. That Victor laser, Ashe volleys, almost everything's better. And then Braum to block anything that C9 doesn't really have. Pick versus disengage. Cloud9 doesn't really have any pick. Gravity does. Gravity has pick. Gravity has disengage. So they can actually potentially disengage the Mumu ult. Not really, because sneaking balls won't be in range. Depends. You can't The Gragas won't be able to separate the Diana and the Rumble and Tristana, and Rumble's going to be able to get off his ultimate no matter what. But yeah, Gravity has pick. C9 doesn't really have disengage without sacrificing someone, basically. They have the speed from Karma, but the CC coming out of Gravity would be way too much. And they don't have cleanses, do they? No. Burst versus healing. Nobody has healing. Both teams have good bursts, so that's kind of neutral. So what does this look like? Huh. Split push. Does Diana have teleport? Diana has teleports. That might be a little bit towards C9. But again, the 3 areas I'm giving to C9 aren't really that big. So it's close. The poke and pick from Gravity, I really feel like it has an edge. But the carry control C9's team fight, they could just wreck Gravity in half a second if Gravity doesn't do it right. So I think Gravity has the best chance, but it's very small. And if Gravity loses it, they're gonna lose it in a team fight. Loss in a team fight. Team fight. Does that show up? Yeah. If Gravity loses it, it's gonna be in a team fight, and C9's gonna wreck them with it. I kind of see the only way C9's gonna do it. So if it goes late, they stand a better chance of winning. So that's it.